Hey y'all. So, as I have been on this healing journey and as I have been working on self, of course, there are things that come up for me that I have forgotten. So, one of the I guess you'd call it a symptom, one of the symptoms or trauma responses from my CPTSD is that I would dump. This is something that I developed as early as I can remember. So I've had this as since I was a child. It wasn't until I would start seeing like old pictures or a family member would bring somebody up and ask me if I remembered who they were that I started to realize that that's what the fuck was going on. There are a lot of situations where I could tell you, like, if you bring up a year to me, if something like nostalgic happened in that year, I can tell you, like, oh, this and this happened, right? As far as like, oh, this Disney movie came out. Oh, I remember when this Gigapet came out. I remember this year I got jellies for my 7th birthday. Like, it's stuff like that that I remember. But if it was a traumatic event, if somebody had something to do with that traumatic event, my brain dumped it. So, um, a lot of things are now coming up for me, and a lot of the times what happens is it could be somebody simply telling their own story, and then something comes up. And so, for instance, yesterday I was watching some girl's video, and she told a story time about how her grandmother used to allow her grandfather to pretty much abuse her, and no one in the family said anything. But the day that the girl stood up for herself and said something to the grandfather, she was punished for it. And it brought up a situation. I want to say I was about 7 or 8. Had to be like 7 or 8. And I don't speak about evil stepmom much. I'm going to start just because I need to get that energy up out of me. I realized that I thought that I had healed from that crazy ass lady. I did undo a lot of her damage, but there are still memories and things that come up for me when it comes to her. And I just don't want to even be bothered with that shit no more. So, I'll give you an example. So, I want to say I was like 7 or 8. And she used to lie on me a lot. A lot. And what, as an adult, upset me about it so much is I I was my father's, like, I'm my father's child. Why is my father going immediately off of what she's saying and reacting? And for her, yes, she did. She abused me a lot, but she was also able to coerce my dad into perpetuating the abuse as well. And one of the ways that she would do that is to lie on me. And I used to be labeled a liar. And I look back now, and it's like when I did start to lie, I was lying as a means to protect myself, but I was not always a liar. And so, my little brother was, if I was 7 or 8, he had to be like 2 or 3. And he flushed a fucking Mickey Mouse toy down the toilet. I'm gonna try not to get emotional because it's so stupid, but I didn't deserve that shit, in a nutshell. He flushed the Mickey Mouse toy down the toilet got clogged. Okay, it caused everybody in the house an inconvenience. And it was only one bathroom. My grandmother had a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. It was like one of those old LA houses in the 70s. So before evil stepmom even started to ask any questions, she immediately started to gaslight me into thinking that I was the one. So all day long, she kept telling me, like, yep, you getting your ass up when your daddy get home. Yep, because I told you to stop putting so much toilet paper in the toilet. And I'm like, I didn't do it. And she was like, yes, you did. I know you did. You're the only person in this house that's, like, out of the kids at the time, because I forgot where the older kids were. I think my dad had just got custody of me, so I wasn't enrolled in school yet. And so it was me and my 2 baby brothers at the time. And she was like, they don't even use the bathroom. It's you, it's you, it's you. So when I tell y'all, all fucking day I got berated. All day I got berated. I got my ass whipped. And then when my father got home, it was worse. And so I remember, I don't remember what the fuck we ate that day. I just remember that they had got fast food from somewhere. And this matters, okay? They had got fast food from somewhere. Y'all gonna have to bear with me because I'm really trying to get through it. I had a really bad breakdown yesterday talking about this. But they got fast food from somewhere, and I was sitting on the blanket. I can still see the room. I was sitting on this blanket, and my dad comes in and he's fussing at me about it. And I'm like, I didn't do it. Like, I didn't do it. Who the fuck did it? Why would she lie on you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I didn't do it. And I'm eating my dinner. And he gets so mad at me. And she's obviously adding to it. And he picks up my whole bag of food with my little toy in it. And he flings the shit across the room into the wall. And I don't have a small father. And when I was younger, my dad was bigger. So my dad was like muscular, and he's like 6'2". And I'm for context, I'm 35, but I'm only 5'2", okay? So imagine how small I was as a child. I was always like the runt of the family, even though I was oldest. Takes my bag of food and he flings that shit into the wall. And he's like, all of this is over a clogged toilet, you guys. Like, you did it. She wouldn't lie on you. You're such a fucking liar. And I'm like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That man picked me up by my foot and whooped my ass. No, I didn't get my ass whooped. I got beat. And I just remember somewhere in the process, my grandmother like jumped in the middle of it to stop it. And she literally took me into her room and closed the door. What fucks me up about it, and what reminded me of it from that girl's story, was that nobody ever apologized to me. My grandmother literally just took the fucking bandage and she wrapped all of my bruises up. And I went to school the next day like nothing happened. Fast forward, my grandfather, who was still alive at the time, my grandfather goes to my grandmother's house, and he goes and snakes out the toilet to figure out what the fuck happened. And when my grandfather fucking snakes out the toilet, the Minnie Mouse toy, or the Mickey Mouse toy, gets pulled out of the toilet. And that is when they realized that my little brother, who was 2 at the time, was the one that clogged the toilet. And to this day, 20 some odd years later, nobody ever fucking apologized to me. And I bring this story up because I always tell you guys that healing is not linear. You one day you'll be okay, one day you won't. I had to call my grandmother yesterday and relive this story with her and tell her how it made me feel. And in all of that, at some point of the conversation, and I'm sitting there, y'all, with my babies, because I'm distraught and I have to try to explain to my children what's going on. And I looked at my 7-year-old and I told my grandmother, I said, I have kids and I just don't understand why my parents did me the way that they did me. I said, I can half-ass understand Eva's stepmom because I wasn't hers. Although I don't feel like a child deserves that treatment at all. But I think what has taken me so long to work through these things is the simple fact that I came from y'all. And I did not ask to be here. And when I look at my own children, I don't care how bad they get on my fucking nerves, I can't for the life of me begin to understand or explain or figure out how you could do something like that to the thing that comes from you. To the very thing that comes from you. My father fought for custody of me to get me out away from my mother, who was being selfish and neglectful, only to put me in even more abuse. At least when my mother left me alone, I was just left alone. I learned how to live through that. I got through that. I'll talk about that another day. But this shit here,